Okay, YouTube, this is Acid Roots. I've got Korn's Untitled album, which came out in the middle of 2007. Now, with this project, I've read a few reviews, and it's been said that this is one of their weaker albums, but I don't feel it that way. And I'm kind of, really Issues and Follow the Leader, the albums I've listened to the most. And I don't remember See You on the Other Side, which I reviewed a year ago. But this album, I feel like, is pretty much. I still feel like Issues is one of their best, but this is just a shade beneath it. It has just like they kind of mastered the sound, but it just feels like they're not trying on this record, which is not really a complaint because it's still good. So the main thing is this album was not supported by that many singles. It had two charting ones and then a third one which was kind of under promoted and just kind of awkwardly there, but it wasn't an awkward song. It was actually a pretty good one. It was their attempt at a ballad or a power ballad, which we don't really see from Korn that much. For the most part, they normally do songs that just involve getting the night started, but that's kind of a different form for them. I'm almost ready to embrace more songs like that, like Kid Rock. Some of his best known songs. Some of Kid Rock's best known songs are songs like Only God Knows Why and Picture and that song off his 2007 album, but really Korn does not really do this. I mean, if you look to Issues, there's not really a ballad song. So the third single, Kiss, I feel like were they to do it, I mean, it was kind of strange because usually their murky and shady style doesn't fit with the type of promotion that they do, but I think audiences maybe just didn't know what to expect, which, that's definite good thing. And then the continuation, it's the only real song I thought was like it besides Hushabye, but I do like the idea of this. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about a few of these. So Evolution is kind of similar to Rotting in Vain, and for the most part, a first single by Korn. I mean, a lot of times they try to recreate Freak on a Leash and Got the Life, and this is about the same, but it still has that scary effect that they're known for, so you don't have to worry about them not having that first song to know the album for. Hold On is more rock based, and I'm glad that they take this format, but it still feels as if this was just a little bit of a shy album. I mean, really, there should have been at least one more song, which I'm starting to feel like they're getting ready to do with the Serenity of Suffering, just because, if only two songs chart, it's a disappointment because, it just happens to be a quiet release. But, between that and this, really, I think I'd say Killing probably would have been a great song to choose. And also, maybe Bitch We Got a Problem if the title was renamed. Those would have been a few extras to put in there. But, of course, this was 10 years ago, so really, for the most part, the singles do it justice, but there's just not enough to hold the night in terms of recognition. I look it up on Spotify, and really only two songs have more than 500,000 views. So this is one of those albums that was just kind of humdrum and just not really memorable, but I don't really feel that way, and I'm going to discuss why. So out of 12 songs, I wound up liking 9. So this is normal for Korn. This obviously is going to get a 10, but I'm going to discuss why, because I know some folks are going to say, well, some of this is ridiculous. So the songs that you need to hear are Ever Be, Killing, Starting Over, Bitch We Got a Problem, Evolution, Hold On, Kiss, Innocent Bystander, and I Will Protect You. So, I Will Protect You is one of the shadier songs on here. Sounds pretty ghostly. I do appreciate that. And The Killing is kind of a song similar to Hold On, which some of these songs towards the end, despite the fact that they're not singles, I still feel like are strong Korn records. Maybe some of you folks ignored them, but they're definitely worth revisiting. Uh, Everbee is another one. Now this one's a little bit different from Hold On and Killing, but it still has a pretty good rock feel to it. Now, really, I know rock feel is not a good description, but it it's a tough song, and really we forget that Korn does that. I think it's easy to forget that Korn does that because most of the time they have that eerie sound to them, but they can do metal as well. And when they do that, it just seems as if maybe like the second single Hold On didn't get as enough attention, but any time that we're just not used to that, it's just strange trying to figure out how the singles work. Like with Follow the Leader, Freak on a Leash, and Got the Life both had that feel of a single, but we didn't really get a metal based one for that album. So it's interesting because they did each type of single that a single usually does in rock. You got the scary one in Evolution, the metal one in Hold On, and then the ballad in Kiss. But Kiss didn't catch on. But I do think we could have used a few more of those. So I wanted to list a few extras that were good on this album, just to almost put an end to the theory that this album was a light based one. I think really another thing that adds into that is just the fact that Korn has dropped over 10 albums. So really, they didn't take off between 2002 and 2008. They didn't get dropped from the label and come back after 2004 and 2012. They've been here the whole time. So they're one of the few new metal bands that did it. So it's just, we had to deal with some rough spots in between, this decade. But to me, this album was not a rough period, not a rough spot. So this album gets a 10. The social score gets a 6 because 2 charting songs, a third attempted one, but really only 2 songs charted, so that's a disappointment. But I still feel like, Korn is Korn, so people are going to know them, and it works. But the future, Korn dropped an album back in October, Serenity of Suffering. And can this record be topped? The answer is not really, but this is a project that deserves more listens and revisits, especially 10 years later, to see that, Korn did, if we thought that they were having problems, it's probably not the case.